Hey, Commanders fans, get ready because today we have exclusive news about our team and you can't miss a single detail. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel, activate the bell to receive everything firsthand, and of course, leave a like to strengthen our fan base and show that we only have true fans here. Our commitment is to always bring you the latest updates, news, and everything that happens behind the scenes of Commanders. So, without further ado, let's check out today's news.
Commanders' Noah Brown headed to injured list after win over the Giants. The long-awaited victory finally arrived for Washington, but with such a confusing ending that it still makes Dan Quinn seem like a coach tired of repeating the same lesson. After the Commanders nearly squandered a large lead in their 29-21 win over the Giants, Quinn didn't mince words, admitting that they made things much harder than they needed to be, as late mistakes turned a quiet afternoon into a tense finish. That win also came with a quick roster overhaul on Monday. The Commanders announced they placed wide receiver Noah Brown on the reserve injured list, designated cornerback Darius Rush as an injured practice squad player, and made some corresponding adjustments to bolster the roster. Washington also promoted wide receiver Chris Moore from the practice squad to the 53-man main roster and added wide receiver River Craycraft and tight end G. Scott Jr. to the practice squad. With the season already derailed in the standings, the most important issue now is preservation, not urgency. Therefore, the other important decision follows the same line. The Washington football team announced that quarterback Jayden Daniels will be sidelined for the remainder of the 2025 season due to an elbow injury, according to Ian Rappaport of NFL Network. Daniels was reevaluated and has not yet been cleared, and since the next game would be followed by a short week near Christmas, the coaches opted to protect the asset in the long term rather than force the issue in unimportant games. Marcus Mariota will continue as the starter, and the coaching staff will use the final stretch to evaluate the roster, including the receiving corps, which has been reorganized without Noah Brown. The victory over New York may have ended the losing streak, but it didn't erase the bigger reality. Washington is just going through the motions, trying to reach January with a healthier quarterback, a more defined roster, and fewer mistakes made by themselves than those that almost turned a comfortable lead into another hard blow. The Commanders are being urged to make a controversial decision regarding wide receiver Terry McLaurin. Perhaps it's time for the Washington Commanders to finally look in the mirror and have an uncomfortable conversation about what's left of the 2025 regular season. Washington has a record of 4 wins and 10 losses, with 3 games remaining in the regular season, and has been one of the worst teams in the NFL this year. The Commanders will be out of the playoffs more than a month away when the regular season comes to its merciful end in Week 18, in the final game of the regular season, against the reigning Super Bowl champion, the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a very different situation from the team that finished the 2024 season in style, surprising the NFL with a 12-5 regular season record and reaching the NFC Championship game for the first time since 1991. That final stretch in a series of roster improvements, or supposed improvements, positioned the Commanders as true Super Bowl contenders in 2025, which ultimately proved to be an illusion. Now the Commanders need to turn their attention to 2026. Internally, this seems to be happening, with the team resting injury-prone quarterback Jayden Daniels for the final 3 games of the regular season. Now, with a top 5 finish on the table, why stop there? NFL All-Pro wide receiver Commanders under pressure to suspend activities. Daniels will finish the 2025 season having missed 10 games and with a record of 2 wins and 5 losses in his 7 starts, with the last time anyone saw him play this year being in a humiliating 31-0 loss to the Vikings. He wasn't the only one to be sidelined this season. NFL All-Pro wide receiver Terry McLaurin missed a personal record 7 games due to a hamstring injury, even after signing a 3-year, $97 million contract extension on August 25th. That's not the kind of return on investment you want. Although McLaurin has played in the last 3 games and his performance has improved, he has 26 receptions for 409 yards and 3 touchdowns. The most sensible thing to do might be to rest him until 2026. With the Commanders resting Jaden Daniels in the last 3 games, they should also rest other key starters, wrote Grant Paulson of 106.7 The Fan on X. Terry McLaurin is fundamental to the team next year, as we just saw in 2025. He shouldn't play in the last 3 games again. The same goes for Javon Kinlaw and Darren Payne at defensive tackle. They have nothing to prove. John Bates is an important piece as a blocking tight end.
Are the Commanders planning to sign wide receiver Brandon Ayuk in the offseason? Earlier this month, 49ers general manager John Lynch expressed hope that wide receiver Brandon Ayuk would move off the reserve/non-football injury list to play at some point this season. Nearly 2 weeks later, that optimism seems to have run its course, writes Diana Rossini of The Athletic. Ayuk hasn't played since tearing his anterior cruciate ligament, medial collateral ligament, and meniscus in his right knee in Week 7 of 2024. He suffered the injury a few months after signing a 4-year, $120 million contract extension. After Ayuk failed to show up for preseason consultations for knee rehabilitation, the 49ers made the surprising decision to void his contract guarantees for 2026 last summer. Unless there's an unexpected turn of events in the relationship between the parties, it's likely the contract will be terminated next season. The 49ers could try to find a trade partner for Ayuk, but with his market value low, that may be difficult. If the 49ers trade or waive Ayuk before June 1st, they will be left with $29.85 million in dead money. Waiving him after June 1st would allow San Francisco to spread that dead money over 2 years. In that scenario, Ayuk would represent $13.25 million against the team's salary cap. As for Ayuk's next destination, Washington is a team to watch. It's believed Ayuk would like to reunite with Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels, according to ESPN's Dan Graziano. The two formed an excellent duo at Arizona State in 2019. Ayuk had 65 receptions for 1,192 yards and 8 touchdowns, earning him a spot on the All-Pac-12 first team that year. The 49ers selected him 25th overall in the following draft. Ayuk not only knows Daniels, but it's also worth noting that Commanders general manager Adam Peters was a key figure in the 49ers front office during the wide receiver's first 4 years. Peters will likely be looking to bolster the offense after the Commanders' disappointing season, which could spark interest in Ayuk. After reaching the NFC Championship game last season, the injury-plagued Commanders will miss the playoffs this year. With a 3-13 record, they are on track to be selected in the top 10 in next spring's draft. Terry McLaurin will return as Washington's primary receiver next year. However, Deebo Samuel, Ayuk's former teammate in San Francisco, and Noah Brown have expiring contracts. Tight end Zach